Hello Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday the 6th of May's maths video. Let's have a look at our challenge answers. So let's look at this question first. This would have involved a little bit of trial and error and you're trying to substitute different numbers till you got the correct answer. You probably worked out first that A is 4. Once you've worked that out, you can then work out, well, 1/4 of 4. 1/4 of 4 is 1. So then that gives you what C is. So we know that A is 4, we know that C is 1, and to get B, we have to do whatever C is, which is 1, plus 2, which is 3, and then that gives us B. And you can see here what your sum should have looked like. And then if we have a look at this one, we've got an answer here to this division question, and Jack's saying that the answer is 36 remainder 3. Rosie said that the answer is 36.75, and your task to work out was who do you agree with. Now I'm hoping that you worked out that both of them are correct, and this works because you can convert remainders as remainders into fractions and then remainders as decimals. So if we have a look, my remainder was 3. What was I dividing by? 4. 3/4. We should know this. What is 3/4 as a decimal? Well, that's 0.75. And therefore, another way to express the answer to 147 divided by 4 is 36.75. So both of them were correct. Well done if you got that answer correct, both of those answers correct. Let's have a look at today's lesson. So today we are multiplying decimals. So we're going to be using a few of the skills that we looked at yesterday in dividing to help us with today's task. First question here, 5 times 0.1. And we can see multiplication as repeated addition. So here I have wrote out 0.1 5 times. So if we add 0.1, add 0.1, add 0.1, add 0.1, add 0.1, what would we get? We'd get 0.5. 5 times 0.1 is 0.5. And there's another one here, 0.1 times 6. So I've wrote out 0.1 6 times over. What would that be? 0.1 times 6. Well, that will be 0.6. You can pause the video now and you can have a go at these two questions, even setting it out like this to see what you get. Okay, before I show you the answers to those two, there is also another way that we can multiply decimals. This method is a nice visual way to see it when our numbers are really small, but what happens if we get numbers which are bigger? So let's have a look with this question. I've got 8 multiplied by 0.2. Now we did something yesterday when we were dividing decimals by whole numbers. What do we do to that decimal number? We turn it into a whole number. So what would I do? What would I need to do to turn 0.2 into 2? Well, I times it by 10. So now my calculation is much simpler to do. 8 times 2 is 16. However, I multiplied by 10 here. So if I multiply by 10 here, and my answer is 10 times bigger than what it should be, what do I need to do to my 16? I need to divide by 10. So that will give me the answer of 1.6. Excellent if you got this already. Let's repeat that same process to this question here. So I've got 4 multiplied by 0.8. What do I need to do to my 0.8? I need to turn into a whole number. So now I'm going to do 4 times by 8 instead. What's 4 times 8? 32. What did I do to my 0.8 to get 8? multiplied it by 10. So my answer is 10 times bigger than what it should be. So what do I now need to do to get 4 times 0.8? I have to divide it by 10. So my answer is 3.2. So we've just looked at two methods there for multiplying whole numbers by decimals. We can use the repeated addition, set it out like that so we can see it visually, or especially as we start to look at multiplying decimals with bigger numbers, we could try turning our decimal into a whole number and then making sure we convert it back at the end. Let's have a look then at some more of those questions. Now these numbers are slightly more tricky. If you feel like you're confident, pause the video, have a go through them. If not, carry on listening and we'll do the first two together. So here, 2.6 times 6, I'm dealing with bigger numbers now, so I'm not going to write them out visually. I'm going to turn my decimal into a whole number, and you can see that I have already done that here. What did I do to 2.6 to get to 26? I times it by 10. Or now I've got 26 times 6. I could do this using column multiplication, but can I do this using an informal method? Well, let's have a look. That's 20 times 6 there. Well, I know what 2 times 6 is, so I know what 20 times 6 is. That's 120. Now I've got to do 6 times 6. What's 6 times 6? 36. Now I need to add those up together. What do I get? 156. But my question wasn't asking 26 times 6. It was asking 2.6 times 6. I times it by 10 here. What do I have to do to my answer? Divide it by 10. 156 divided by 10 is 15.6. Right, excellent. Let's have a look at the next one using the same method. So we have got 8.3 and we're multiplying it by 5. So have a think to yourself, what am I going to do to my 8.3? I'm going to turn it into a whole number. So I'm going to turn it into 83 multiplied by 5. Okay, and now I can say to myself, right, what did I do to my 8.3? Well, I times it by 10, so let's make a little note there so we don't forget at the end. Now let's repeat the process. 80 times 5, 400. 3 times 5, 15. Add it together, 415. But what do I need to remember to do? I need to remember to divide by 10. So what will my answer be? 41.5. Good. Okay, you can pause the video here and you can have a go at the next two questions if you haven't already. We've looked at two methods so far. We've looked at the visual method, actually writing out what we're multiplying 5 by here for this example, and then doing repeated addition to work it out. We've looked at making our number, shown by this example here, we've looked at making our number into, our decimal number into a whole number. That's another method. There's also something else that we can do. Can anybody remember another method? We'll demonstrate it here. We can partition. I've got 6.7 and I'm multiplying it by 8. I can partition this into 6 times 8. What's 6 times 8? 48. And then 0.7 multiplied by 8. Now you might want to make this 10 times bigger in order to be able to do this calculation. Some of you will be able to do it in your head. Whether you need to write something down, doesn't matter. Use whatever method suits you to get this answer. That's 5.6. Now I have to add them together. What will my answer be? You should have worked out that my answer is 53.6. So that's a third method that we can use to multiply decimals. I'm going to show that one, the partitioning method, just once more using this question here. So I've got 7.4, multiplying it by 3, partition, 7 times 3 is 21. Then what's left for me to multiply? 0.4 times that by 3. What's that? 1.2. Now what do I have to do with these two answers? I have to add them together, and the answer is 22.2. So we've looked at 3 methods there today, and the visual method, not really suitable when we're multiplying by bigger numbers, otherwise we'd be writing out this for a really long time. You've got the method where you make your decimal number into a whole number. That method is suitable for bigger numbers. And also you've got the partitioning method. Choose whichever method you prefer, whatever method helps you get the correct answer. Okay, and let's have a look at our challenges for today. This challenge, there'll be lots and lots and lots of different answers that you can find. Try and challenge yourself to find, say, 10. Can you find 10 different options to fit these boxes? If you can, make sure you post them in your class blogs, because your teachers will love to know that you've completed that challenge. Have a go, pause the video now, and we'll go through these answers tomorrow. Thank you for listening, Year 6. I hope that you found it useful, and I will see you tomorrow.